Welcome to the Culture and Effect Podcast. What's up, man? I'm T-Lay. I'll tell you, man, got another great episode coming up for y'all, man, right here on the Culture and Effect Podcast. And look, we're about to get right into it. Got an event happening at the end of this month on April the 28th through the 30th. And it's a great conference, man, and I can't wait to check it out to see some of the great things we got. And we got the man himself who's put this conference together right here with us. Let's bring him on the screen. Dr. Beckwith, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
All right, what's up?
What's up, Brandon?
Hey, look, Gene want to say hey to you real fast.
Hey.
What's up,
He made it real fast, for real, too.
All right, man, so let's get right into it, man. At the end of this month, April 28th to the 30th, man, you got a conference happening at the Monroe Civic Center. Tell the people about it.
Well, I do have a conference coming up at the end of the month. And basically, what the conference is centered around, I know you see my shirt here, it's the In Defense of Bathsheba Conference. It's based off and focused on a book that I authored back in 2016. And so we're just taking the book, the topics from the book, and bringing them to life, issues that we want to talk about, issues that are in our communities every day. And that's basically the gist of it, man. What I did was took the story of David and Bathsheba, which is a biblical story. You can find it in 2 Samuel chapter 11. So basically what I did was took that story and used it to spotlight issues that are happening in our communities. And just to give you a quick breakdown, man, what happened was David was the king. And so, he was given the responsibility of taking care of Bathsheba and taking care of all of the people who are, citizens in his kingdom. So David sees Bathsheba bathing. He sends for her, lays with her, gets her pregnant. And then when she tells him that she's pregnant, he has her husband murdered. And then after 7 days of mourning, he moved into the palace. So basically, what she dealt with was all types of trauma and drama, from being sexually assaulted or raped by David, who took advantage of her because of his position. And then on top of that, he murders her husband, and then she loses the baby. So all of those things happen in a very quick, very short span for her. And then she's not given counseling. She's not given any therapy. She just immediately is moved into a new position. And so I just take those topics, man, and just talk about those topics in the book. And so what we're doing with the conference is just highlighting those same issues, even from how she was treated as a woman. All of those things will be talked about at the conference. So we're excited. Like I said, April 28th and 29th in the Monroe Civic Center. And then April 30th will be that Sunday. Will be at my church in Winsboro, Victory Temple Church.
Oh, man, that's pretty dope right there. I'm telling you, man, a lot of great things going on. So let's talk a little right now about the conference itself that's happening. The first 2 days you said is at the Monroe Civic Center, right?
Yeah, it's at the Monroe Civic Center. That Friday night, man, we have some local singers that are going to be singing. We had Grambling State University. They poured out one day last week, but we're going to fill that spot with some more great singers. Bishop R.C. Blakes, who is a world-renowned speaker, pastor, YouTuber, will be there Friday night as the keynote speaker. Crystal Smith is going to be there. On Saturday, the 29th, Ro for real, Ro is going to be in the house. He'll be moderating our roundtable discussion. Then we have all kind of...
So the roundtable discussion, man, what is going to be discussed inside that roundtable discussion?
Man, the roundtable discussion, all the things that we just talked about, man, things that people want to talk about, sometimes it's not the appropriate time or place to discuss certain things. And we're going to put it all on the table. And if you know Ro, nothing is going to be off limits. And then the panel of people that we have for the roundtable discussion, man, we have judges, we have lawyers, we have police officers, just educated people, an educated panel, a well-rounded panel. Senator Katrina Jackson will be there. Judge from Ruston is going to be there. I mean, we got the panel's going to be lit. And if you, like I said, if you know Ro, he's going to keep it rolling as the moderator. So we'll be talking about all of the hot topics especially like women rights, feminism, sexual assault, depression, suicide, all the things that you're seeing in our society that's become prevalent, man. We'll be talking about those issues, and people have a chance to discuss. We'll be chatting live, so the live chats will be popping up on the screen, and Ro will be addressing that as well. So it's gonna be dope.
Is that's all that Friday night?
That's that Saturday morning. The panel
Saturday morning
at 10. We're going from 10 to 12 with the panel discussion. Like I said, and it's not one of those things where you're just gonna be sitting, you're gonna be bored. No, it's gonna be live. I'm telling you. The way that we're doing is, I already know we're gonna put a little culture twist on it. So it's gonna be straight.
I got another. So is Michael Jr. still on the program?
Michael Jr. will be in the building, man. Listen, if y'all haven't heard this dude, man, this dude is absolutely
legit funny,
bro.
Man.
Like he laugh out loud, holding your side,
man.
And he's a clean comedian. So it's one of those deals where you can bring your family, you can bring your kids, and your kids can laugh because dude is relatable. Not only that though, Brandon, man, one of the most exciting parts of this deal, bro, is that we're gonna do a show for the homeless. Man, wow. Michael Jr. has a heart for the community and a heart for people. So as a part of the conference, not only will he be performing at the conference, but we are going to do a show outside of the conference for our homeless population right here in Monroe.
Wow. Hey, that's pretty dope. Hey, look, check this out for the people that's out there that's watching the podcast, the Culture and Effect for podcast. And if y'all ain't never heard of Michael Jr., I want to give y'all a little clip. I want to show a little clip of Michael Jr. so y'all check it out.
I like reading the Bible. I was reading the Bible, found out Jesus had a little brother. Anybody know his name? James. When I read that, I was like, how much pressure was that? Jesus, your big brother? How many times did you have to hear, why come you can't be more like Jesus, James? Because everybody probably thought that James could do the same thing Jesus could do, but he couldn't. He was just James. He wasn't James Christ. Remember the wedding banquet? Jesus turned water into wine. Everybody was amazed, but they don't tell you about the next banquet. Jesus left early. They started running out of wine. Everybody looked at James. It's like, man, last time this happened, your brother made some wine, dude. You just gonna stand there with your sandals on? You're not gonna... Can you make some Kool-Aid or something, man? You're not gonna do anything.
So there he is right there, man. Michael Jr. Hey, he's doing Saturday night, right?
He'll be there Saturday evening at 5:00. Man, dude is laugh out loud funny, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna be dope.
He was, man, I'm talking about you was laughing the whole time, tears. Like he can make anything funny, like anything. Yeah. It comes off the top of his head sometimes. Just it's I'm talking about good, clean, legit, funny.
Yes.
So, man, question for you, man. Like, what made you want to do this conference? Like, what put it in your heart to do this conference?
Well, man, a couple of things, man. I think that because of what happened to me, I felt like God brought me through it so that I could help other people. I think that whether you male or female, everybody has a Bathsheba experience where something has traumatized you and you never quite got over it. You never healed. You were never even really given the opportunity to heal. And so that's what this conference is, man. That's why we have a mix of speakers, and then you'll get a Michael Jr. We have speakers, and then you'll get Mr. Robert Finley, who was on America's Got Talent. You know what I'm saying? Because not only are they relatable with their story, but music is therapy, and then of course laughter is good for the soul. So we try to put together a good mix, man, just to help people get to a place of where they can deal with their issues and things that have happened to them, and we can have a good time at the same time.
Yeah, so just like a question for you real fast, off the top of your head, man, what do you think some issues that you see personally that's harming the community, that's harming the Black community?
Well, right now, man, just talking locally, and I'm not going to talk about the problem. I want to get to like the root. The root issue is like fatherlessness,
Yeah.
training up our children. Those type of things is why we're seeing the gun violence and those type of things. Where are the mentors? Where are the trainers? Where's the counseling and the therapy? And one of the things that we want to talk about with the roundtable discussion is how can we remove the stigma of therapy and counseling from the Black community?
Yeah.
How can Black men open up and talk about our trauma? And you know what I'm saying? Like my dad went to prison when I was 6. So, I mean, and stayed there until I was 14. Man, that's a critical chunk of my life that I spent without my father. Nobody was like, hey, look, your dad's is locked up. Let me try to mold you. You know what I'm saying? I just was smart enough to try to watch men around me and try to take bits and pieces from them. But for 8 or 9 years, man, I got to see my dad behind the glass. And so I think those type issues are issues that we face, that we see on a day-to-day basis. And then we don't offer, like, we're not sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in a culture now where there's no empathy for people. Like, we see what people go through, but we don't know why they act that way. That's one of the reasons that I'm glad that I'm at Bark the Falk, is because, man, I'm dealing with kids who grow up with less than perfect standards, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So because of that, people judge them a certain way. But I was that little boy. I grew up at 3201 Gordon Avenue. So I'm from AQ. So I tell my kids, man, I know where you at. I know you angry. So let's find out why. My first, go-to is not to suspend you or get you out of school. Let's find out why you acting like that. Let's find out what's really going on. Let's get to the root cause of this thing, and then let's help you grow. We had somebody to get shot across the street from our school. Like, my kids couldn't walk home, and the parents were calling and saying, don't let my kid walk home. There's a dead body in the street. Think about that for a minute. Man, that's some boys in the hood type stuff.
Yeah.
But it happened right here in Monroe. And my kids went home and came back to school the very next day. Nothing was said. No counseling, no therapy, nothing. It's just come on back to school. We ain't going to talk about this, act like it didn't happen. Man, that's traumatizing, man. That's traumatizing.
And I believe the problem is they think that the kid is not soaking that stuff up. It's like growing up is part of life to them. It's part of the situation. So they just like, we just let it ride.
And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shouldn't be our normal.
Everybody in the street is not normal.
Right. And then we turn around and we're expecting mastery from them on the LEAP test. You know what I'm saying? We did absolutely nothing to, I guess, cater to the socio-economic learning part of this. You know what I'm saying? We did nothing. We did, like I said, even from a district level, from a school level, which that's our fault, man, we did nothing. You know what I'm saying? We didn't say, hey, look, I'm talking about for our whole student body. Let's bring in somebody to sit down and talk to our kids about violence, about gun violence, about what they just saw. And that's just the little piece of it. Man, they hear gunshots all night long in their neighborhood.
Yeah. And
that becomes, man, we used to go on lockdown. It doesn't happen so much now, but we used to go on lockdown 2-3 times a week. Our kids were used to it. But the fact that becomes normal is a problem for me. And then things like this conference allows people to express, because I grew up in the neighborhood and it was happening, but not like it is now. So it allows people that opportunity to grow and to heal and say, you know what, man, I don't have to be a product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? Because the part of the story that we didn't talk about is what Bathsheba ended up becoming. You know what I'm saying? She became a respected queen. She had that perseverance. She gave birth to Solomon, who was the wisest king to ever live, one of the richest kings to ever live. And that's her son. And then the woman that she advised in Proverbs 31, which everybody knows is Proverbs 31 woman, that was advice that was given to the king by his mother. That mother was Bathsheba. You see what I'm saying? So all of that she took and still bounced back and came out as strong as she did. So I think that's just noteworthy, man, to say it to our kids and to everybody that's watching and listening, that, man, that's proof that you can go through all of those experiences and still come out on top.
Man, let's get back to your conference real fast. Like, what are some of the other speakers that you got coming up?
Man, Monty Sizer, who is the executive director of Northeast Delta. Nathan Harmon, who has an awesome testimony, will be there. I mentioned Crystal Smith earlier. I'll be speaking. We have Prophetess Bailey that's coming in from Shreveport. So we have a lot of different speakers that, like I said, are going to be addressing a lot of different issues and a lot of different things. But it's so rich with just, and it's not one of those conferences where you just come, sit down, it's boring. Man, the most important thing that I think we offer is that there's going to be, with our partnership with Northeast Delta, we're going to have counselors, therapists, mental health professionals. They're going to be on site at the Civic Center. So if we're talking about something that triggers something in you, Brandon, you can walk to the side and get therapy right there on the spot. You know what I'm saying? So we're not just going to, drum up all these emotions and then send you home. You know what I'm saying? We'll have counselors there that can pray for you, or counselors or therapists there that can talk to you through whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what we're offering, those solutions and not just the problem.
So, man, I got a question. Like for you and your situation, like as you said, you're gonna have counselors there, you're gonna have pastors there they can pray for them and stuff like that. But in your situation, with a male growing up with no father figure, where someone that think that mental health is not really important, it's not something that's strong in the Black community. Like, how did you overcome those situations to tell your story and find help?
Man, I really got to give it up to God on that, T-Lay. Just being honest. And I had a strong mother. You know what I'm saying? I had a strong mother. I had a loving. My grandmother, man, she just turned 100 in January.
Oh, wow.
I had a grandmother that prays. You know what I'm saying? That's because I can't attribute it to my own strength. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've always been a mentally tough person, but to be molested and then to go through all the things that I went through emotionally and spiritually and mentally, my father going to prison and, my mother, man, when I was 8 years old, my mama sat me down, man, and told me, she said, listen, if you're going to go to college, you either have to go to the military or you're going to have to get real good at basketball. Like, those are the kind of pressures that's put on children, man. I'm 8. I'm in the 3rd grade. I'm trying to just enjoy life. You talking about college? What is college? You know what I'm saying? And so from that, man, that moment, I picked up a basketball. I put the basketball in my hand, and that's all I did day and night, because I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be great. And so I think that some of that, the majority of that is just something that God instilled in me. I always knew that God was going to use me in the ministry. I knew from a very young age. And I think that he just, he blocked it out until I was old enough to deal with it and handle it. And then he helped me heal through it, like only he can. And so, I'm grateful to him for that. But, man, there's some people who are not as mentally strong. Man, I have friends that, are on drugs right now because of what happened to them. I have friends that are depressed and some people never get over. One of the chapters that I write about in the book is don't die where you were hurt. You know what I'm saying? Some people died at the moment, and one thing that we didn't talk about is like grief. Like Bathsheba lost her husband, so she grieved her husband. Man, some people die. I had a friend of mine that lost her mother, man. I feel like she didn't just lose her mother, she lost herself. At that moment, when she lost her mother, she lost herself. You know what I'm saying? So everybody doesn't have, some people lose somebody and they just keep going like nothing happened. Man, some people stop living at the moment or at the point that they got hurt.
Right, it happens to a lot of people. That trauma, it immobilizes them. Some people get afraid to move on because they don't know what's gonna happen next. They get immobilized by that fear.
Right.
Of moving on.
Right. And a lot of people close up. A lot of people clam up, and they just they stop living, man. They stop living at that moment. That thing happened to them. And some people, man, that just wasn't a choice for me. And I tell people all the time, man, your past can do one or two things. It can be a propeller or it can be an anchor. It can stop you where you at or it can propel you to your future where you want to go. And I just chose to let what happened to me be a propeller for me. So it just became my fuel, my motivation to be great.
All right, so some of the other things that's going on at your conference, man. What are some of the other things and some of the topics that will be touched at the conference coming up at the end of the month?
Man, Friday at 1:00 on the 28th, we're going to Washita High School. Man, I paid an extra $1,000 to get one of our speakers to go talk to the kids. I graduated from Ouachita, so we're going to pull their student body in, and we're going to go out to the high school, and we're going to talk to them about life choices. And we're also going to just talk to the teachers. I've been 22 years in education. Man, they need some motivation too. Sometimes we forget that the adults tire out, they burn out. So if we dealing with these kids, we need to be talked to as well, and motivated as well. Brandon, you in education, you know how it is, and how it gets, especially around this time of year, man. You just ready to go on, get them kids out the face.
Rolling and man, you ain't got time to breathe. It seems like sometimes.
Right. And sometimes, man, we feel like our efforts are futile. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares, doesn't matter. Are you really making a difference? So, that's one of the great things, T-Lady, we're going to be doing outside of the normal, happenings of the conference. But also, man, Michael Jr., the opportunities, like, dude really wants to get in, like mingle with the people, hang around with the people. This is how the magnitude of this conference, man. Crystal Smith, who doesn't perform until Saturday, wants to come in. She's coming in on Friday because she wants to be a part of everything that's happening with the conference. She doesn't just want to come in, perform, and leave. She wants to come and be a part of it, man. That's the need that we're seeing. People say, look, man, I got to be a part of this. I want to be there. I want to see what's going to happen. I got some stuff I need to heal from, some things that I need to lay out and just, so it's that kind of thing, man. And I'm excited about just that component, man, about people being able to have access to the help that they need, and it being readily available. One of our locals here from Monroe, Ferris Wilmore, is going to be leading the praise and worship team. Next Generation. Yeah, shout out to Ferris, man. Next Generation, which is the youth group from First West. We've partnered with them. So we're going to put together this multicultural choir because we're trying to reach white and black.
Nice.
There is no color barriers right there, man. We're eliminating that. We want to put that choir together and have those kids worshiping God together, man. So we're doing just a youth service for them. So, like I said, that's the gist of it, man. That's the gist of the conference right there. But we have it's planned out, it's mapped out to a way to where, people won't get tired out because Saturday is going to be a long day. Start at 10, we probably won't wrap up until about 9. We'll have vendors there. If there are people who are watching, you want to get your vendor booth set up. We have food trucks there so you can get, fed right there on the spot. Come on back in, take your break, come on back in, enjoy the conference. So all of those offerings will be a part of April 28th and 29th.
That's dope, man. So for the people that's out there listening and want to know more about the conference, how they can buy tickets, where can they go to?
Well, we have a website set up, indefenseofbathsheba.com, or they can go straight to Ticketmaster. And if you go to indefenseofbathsheba.com, just scroll the first page, you'll find register now right there, and it'll take you straight to the Ticketmaster website. If you want to skip all the fees, go straight to the Ticketmaster booth at the Monroe Civic Center, and you can get tickets there. Pre-sale tickets are $50. And like I said, if you go through Ticketmaster, of course, there are fees. But the day of the conference, there'll be $60. And we have people who say, hey, man, I'm going to be out of town Friday night. Can I just get a pass for Saturday? The pass for Saturday pre-register is $25. It's $30 on the day of. So it's just broken up. It's half. It's $25 a day pre-register, $30 a day if you don't pre-register. And like I said, $50 for the whole conference or $60 on the day of.
And what about the people that want to be a part of it, like big vendor or anything like that? How can they get in touch with you to be a part of that?
They can email me at pastor, PASTORBKB111@gmail.com, or you can call me, and I do give out my personal cell. It's out there. I've been had the same number for 22 years. It's 318-680-3595, and I'll put you in touch with my team members who are handling the vendors and handling the sponsorships. We also have sponsorships. I did mention that we do have sponsorships available, and I want to thank all of our sponsors who've already written checks to help make sure that this thing is successful and make sure that it's of excellence and that we put on for the city. We don't want to put on for the city and it be shabby, and we're gonna put on for the city and it's gonna be like that.
For sure. Once again, for all the people that's out there listening and watching, like tell people, how can they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me. I gave my email once again, PastorBKB111@gmail.com. I do answer my own emails, or 318-680-3595. 3595. That is my personal cell phone number. Now, how many people you know that do that? You can reach out to me. Now, listen, I don't always answer, but you can shoot me a text, tell me who you are, what you need. I'll put you in the right, I'll connect you with the right people that can get you what you need to get to make sure that you get the conference tickets. Make sure you get your t-shirt. I know y'all can see this, but they fire too. Make sure you get your t-shirt and just make sure you come ready to worship, praise, laugh, dance, sing, and be healed. All of that.
Hey, look, we're going to get you a t-shirt. You see that right there?
Culture in Effect. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Man, once again, round of applause for Dr. Beckwith. My round of applause ain't working. Okay, it ain't working today. All right, cool. We'll do it. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, man. Before I let you anything else for the people.
Man, listen, this conference we're putting on is one of the biggest that we've had in our region. And we need Monroe to come out and support. We need our city out to support. We need our region out to support. We got people coming from all over the state, Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas. We want to make sure that Monroe is well represented. And that that is.
I'll tell you, man, going down with Dr. Beckwith, man. Thank you for stopping by. Tell us about the conference. Can't wait to join y'all and check out everything that you got going on April 28th through the 30th.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
All right, once again, man, we appreciate you for stopping by. Thank y'all for listening and watching the Culture and Effect podcast. Next time we'll holler.
Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe, everybody.
You heard him.